everyone. How are you doing this morning? I'm recording this in the morning, so I thought I would say that. I don't know what time it is for you, but it's February 21st of 2025. I don't think I ever created a video where I just talk to you like this, have I? And I just ramble and look at you. I don't think so. This might be the first one. I'm not sure. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I thought I would be closer to the microphone too. How does that sound? Does it provide lots of triggers for you? Or shall I say tingles? These are triggers, but you get tingles, is that right? I'm still learning ASMR, and I've been doing this for a whole year. Anyway, as you can tell, I am all bundled up, because it's 43 degrees here in Florida. Yes, I still live in Florida, as an update for Evan, if you are wondering. I am still here. I'm going to brave the year. Hopefully, there will be no bad hurricanes. But stay tuned. I will share with you if I'm underwater. The water would come through that window. Somebody just walked by. I wonder who that was. One of my neighbors, most likely. They probably have a dog. Lots of people walk their dogs in the morning, of course. Sometimes when I'm walking, it's so hard to dodge all the people with their dogs. It's like you're walking just clipping right along, and then all of a sudden there's a dog walker, and you're like, could you please get out of the way a little bit. Anyway, I'm not walking this morning. Not walking this morning because it's just too cold. Too cold. I cannot believe how long this winter feels. Of course, I know some of you laugh at me because you live up north where it is cold, and I get that. But Floridians are not used to cold weather. Anywho, let's move on, and I'm going to talk through some numbers with you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. If you're new to my channel, my name is Evan Thomas. I talk everything money. I've been sharing my journey to financial independence with all of my subscribers, so I hope you enjoy this. I like to teach people that they can do really great things with money over time if they have committed goals. If they stick to their goals, you have to have an income. Keep your expenses down. Yeah, expenses down. Income up over time. And you should be just fine. So this morning, I spent approximately 1 hour going over my finances. I would recommend that you guys sit down with your money once a week for a minimum of 1 hour. 1 hour. You've got to look at your money all of the time, and know exactly where you are. So, as an update to where I am, again, I'm recording this February 21st. In the month of March, I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put all of the money that I have, the 1.6 million that I've been rambling about. Some of it is invested. Some of it is in short-term reserves like cash and iBond, savings accounts, and CDs. But I also have money invested in the stock market in different vehicles like a 401k, a taxable account, and a Roth IRA. that right now I'm trying to figure out, do I move all of my money to one company or keep it at various companies? Which, by the way, last night I attended a webinar with Vanguard. Two very smart, intelligent wealth advisors talked through how they can help people that are subscribing to their advisory services, which you guys know that I am. But it would cost me approximately $4,000 per year to stay with them in terms of them advising me on what to do. But I think I'm pretty smart with money, and I think you guys are pretty smart too. So maybe we can figure this out, right? But as I've shared with you, I have enjoyed having them manage my taxable account and my Roth IRA over the past 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. Because I could pick up the phone and call them at any time and ask them questions, and I learned a lot. But now I've got my money spread out because my employer moved my 401k to Fidelity. So I'm like, Evan, should I move all my money to Fidelity? Should I move all my money to Fidelity? To Fidelity? To Fidelity? Or should I move everything to Vanguard? And the wealth advisor did say, it was funny, she said, it was a live webinar, so she said, it probably is advisable to keep all of your money at one company. And she said, with us or somebody else. She goes, I hope it's with us. But it did get me thinking that there is no real hurry. There's no rush for me to move my money anywhere. So what I would like to share with you in this episode, now that you sat through all of these rambles with me, I'm going to ramble a little bit more about my investment allocation analysis that I just conducted this morning. Now you guys could do the same as well. I don't know where your money is. Like, you might be at Vanguard, you might be at Lincoln Financial, you might be at Fidelity, Charles Schwab, T. Rowe Price, etc. You might have your money in a 401k, in a taxable account, in a Roth, or maybe you just started out, I don't know. But what's interesting, you may have noticed that on websites, they say that you can add money from other companies so that you can do an allocation of all of your money. I like Empower. I've rambled about Empower before, formerly known as Personal Capital. Now, I do not have any money invested through Empower. However, anybody, you or anybody, can go to empower.com and set up an account. And you can put in the numbers and the ticker symbols. Ticker symbols. Ticker symbols. Ticker symbols. Ticker, 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 ticker. Ticker symbols. Ticker symbols are the symbols for the account, which I'll talk about here in just a moment. Because my new T. Rowe Price 401k account is in a Target 2025 fund, and I wrote down the ticker symbol somewhere. I may not have it handy. Anyway, you can input all of that data, all of that data, all of that data, and then the system will figure out the actual allocation of all of the money that you have. Because, again, if you've got money with different custodians, you may be wondering, like, what is my true asset allocation? My true asset allocation, allocation. So, I did this analysis this morning, and I wanted to share it with you, and I'm going to ramble through numbers like I do sometimes, just to entertain you and to relax you as well. So, again, it took me about an hour this morning. I went to my laptop, I went to empower.com, I already had an account, and I had to update all of the information, and then I write it down So let's back it out, okay? About 200 of that is the value of this condo, okay? But the amount of money I have invested in the stock market is currently through 4 accounts. My new Fidelity 401k, and I say new because my employer, right before I retired, moved us from Lincoln Financial to Fidelity right when I retired in December. And I retired in January, but they moved everybody in December. I had no option to opt out, so I said whatever. And they moved me into a target fund, T. Rowe Price of all things, kind of weird. So it sits right now at Fidelity in a target fund. A target fund is a fund that is well allocated based on the date you want to retire, and they moved me into a 2025 account because that was equivalent to what I had before with Lincoln. So the 4 accounts that I have in the stock market: Fidelity 401k, my Vanguard Roth, my Vanguard taxable account, and my health savings account. Those 4 accounts, of course, then include different mutual funds within them. Making sense? CENTS. Making sense so far. So, I also, as you guys know, have short-term reserves, which is not part of this number that I'm giving you right now. What's up with my hat? What's up with my hat? My short-term reserves is an I bond of about $21,000. My CD with a credit union about $31,000. My 3-year CD about $54,000. My 18-month CD about $29,000. And my savings account is $44,000, but I have to subtract $14,000 because you guys know I'm going to pay off my Chase credit card for all of my fun, gas, and other that I spent in 2024 that I've been carrying on a 0% card. So that's going to be wiped out. So that's going to bring that account some. Plus, my savings account is where I'm using money right now to fund FUND 2025. I'm not taking any money from my investments for 2025 in my first year of retirement. So that account will go down to about, I don't know, 10,000 or something. So I've got all this money on the side for cash to be used for these first several years of retirement. Stay tuned because I might use my Roth IRA for 2026. I don't know yet. We'll see how the market does in 2025. If the market is up, I may sell some shares and use that for cash in 2026. That's what's great about personal finance. You continually just go throughout the year and then you make decisions on the following year based on the current year that you're in as far as how the market did. So I'm not going to talk about my cash in this video, but I do want to focus on the money again that is invested in the stock market right now, because I woke up today and I said, Evan, what is your true asset allocation now that they moved the money to Fidelity? Now what's interesting is you can go to Empower and you can link accounts. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They use what's called, oh my gosh, what's it called? Yodlee. It's empowered by Yodlee. What that means is you put in your, for example, my Fidelity information, my username, password, and then it takes all that information and filters it right in. It's so cool. Now, one thing I noticed this morning, however, is it was unclassified for some reason. Unclassified for some reason. Unclassified for some reason. I don't know why. So I went in and I said, you know what? I need to look up my ticker symbol for my T. Rowe Price 2025 target fund, which I did. I think it's VTTHX. I wrote it down somewhere, like I said earlier, and I don't know where it is. Not that it's important for right now, but anywho. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Anyway, I was so pleasantly surprised when I put that in. It classified all of that money so that when I went back to the allocation tab, it filtered it appropriately. Oh, yes, I'm weird, I know. This is a special niche, like somebody said on my channel recently. This is for weird people that want to be wealthy. Most people don't want to grow their wealth, right? They don't want to be financially independent. They just want nice cars and nice homes and all that kind of good stuff. But anywho, if you're like me, you're a little weird. So anyway, I clicked on allocation. I was like, yes, perfect. I wanted to see the actual allocation of where I stand today before I make the changes. So let me ramble the numbers for you, shall I? Yes, I shall. So it then gives a little graph and it says, okay, here's all of your money, the balance, and the percent. I added up all the percents and I was like, yep, 100, perfect. So I knew that my 4 accounts, my Fidelity 401k, the Roth, the taxable, and the health savings account were properly percentages. That's not a word. Anyway, it all equaled 100. So what I did is I broke it down. I said, okay, let me take the US stocks and the international stocks and figure out what those percents are and then add them up. And I also did it for the dollars. So for stocks, currently I've got US stocks 42.54%. 42.54. The dollar amount for that is $560,837. My international stocks currently is 17.84% for a total of $235.125. So the total stock percentages is 60.38%. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see if I was at that 60-40 threshold. So the total dollar amount for stocks is $795,000. $795,962. Then I knew without a doubt that the bonds and the cash and the alternatives all had to equal 40%. It's just a no-brainer, right? But anyway, I wanted to add them up anyway, so here we go. For bonds, US bonds, 24%, 24%, and that total is $352. I'm sorry, $316,352. International bonds, 8.76%, equals $115,423. Cash, 4.82%, $63,538. Alternatives, 2.05% for $27,002. Now, let me pause for a minute. Isn't it interesting that through my mutual funds, sometimes they have you in cash? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm okay with that. So that's why I title this Bonds, Cash, and Alternatives. It's not the cash I told you about that I have as my true short-term reserves. No. This is cash within the mutual funds. I'm okay with that. So the total of the bonds and the cash and the alternatives is 39.63%. If you know what, I did not add those up. Hold on, please. Oh, hold on, I found the ticker symbol. The ticker symbol for my T. Rowe Price Retirement Hybrid 2025 fund is TRRHX. I just found it, TRRHX. That's where it is currently, but I'll probably move that. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. The expense ratio that I think I shared with you before on that one is a little bit higher than the Vanguard funds. Not much, though. It's still super low. It's a very low cost, index fund. Index fund. Index fund. Fund. never added up to see if it was 100%. 60.38. Remember, 60.38 is the percentage that I have currently in U.S. and international stocks, or also known as equities. 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 Somebody on my channel recently said that I should say stipple. 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 I think it was stipple. 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 Okay, 60.38. Now, if I add the bonds, remember it is 39.63. Let's see if that equals 100, shall we? Are you ready? 100%. What's that 1% doing there? I mean that 1. I'm okay with that. 100.01% means that in my analysis, everything is accounted for. In my analysis, everything is accounted for. In my analysis, everything is accounted for. Right? So, did I tell you the total number for the bonds? It's 522,305. $522,305. $522,305. Add that to the $795,962, which is stocks. You get 1.3 million. It's a little bit over that. 1,318,276. Okay, so I always tend to cross checks, right? You've got to do cross checks every time you look at your money and you do an analysis. So, because I know, remember, I was saying I've got 1.6 or 1.7, so of a net worth. So let's just add this up, shall we? 1,318,276 is what I currently have in investable assets, right? Yes. All of that is in the stock market and cash, as you saw, based on the mutual funds that they have me in. They've got me in mutual funds, and also, what are those things called? ETF, exchange traded funds as well. But I know that I also have about 175 in cash reserves on the side. All that stuff I just rambled about in the beginning of this episode. But remember, I'm spending it down a little bit in 2025 as well. So, but let's go ahead and put in 175,000. Oops. I have to start over. 1,318,276 plus 175,000 is about 1.5 plus 200,000 is the value of this condo. It's actually gone down a little bit. On Zillow right now, it's 188 plus 188,000. You guys may know I do not have a mortgage. I paid it off in 2019. So there you go. $1,681,276, which cross-check is complete. Now, as a parting conversation and to end this episode, what I would encourage you guys to do is do exactly like I'm doing. Look at your money once a week. Go into your spreadsheets, add up where those dollar amounts are currently based on where the market is. Look at the percents too. That's important. It's important to always go back and look at everything so that you can then say, okay, great, you're on track. You're exactly where you want to be. So now I'm going to go out and, live my life. So, these analyses you do once a week or so. It doesn't take that long. But I wanted to share that with you today. Now, for me moving forward in the month of March, remember I told you I'm going to figure out, am I okay with just keeping the money where it is? was sharing with you before. I don't have to do that right away. In fact, the first 6 years, starting next year, I could just spend down my Roth IRA with Vanguard and it would last 6 years, if not more. So that's what you realize when you get close to retirement and when you get in retirement, is that if you have built your life, financially speaking, in a lot of different buckets, meaning your 401k if you have one, a little bit into a taxable account, your emergency fund, your short-term reserves, if CD rates are high, the closer you get to retirement, the more cash you may want to have on the side. I've talked about all these things before, right? And what happens is, going into retirement then and quitting your job, you have a good, not only understanding of where everything lives, but there's no real rush really to make big changes with anything. In fact, you may recall me saying that one way that I'm thinking right now is with that Fidelity account, it's in a target fund of 2025, which means that account itself is probably at 50% stocks, 50% bonds. I'm not sure. In fact, I'm going to do that after I stop recording. But that ticker symbol, remember, currently as a target fund is probably very well balanced. But I do not need to touch any of that money for probably 15 years. Do you know how long that is? So could I not be riskier as far as the investments, maybe having 80% or 90% stocks and 10% bonds to leverage the growth opportunities? Because if the market goes down in a couple years, who cares? I'm not selling the shares anyway. I'm using my Roth. So that's the way I'm going to be thinking in March of this year, is figuring out if my thought process is accurate. I'll probably talk to Vanguard about it and see what they think, and then I will make that final determination. So, in closing this episode, again, I would encourage you to do these types of analysis, to look at your money every week or two, know exactly where you are, and then start to relax about, what you're building over time. And I've always said I don't think anybody needs a financial advisor per se. I believe in all of you, and I think that you all can do just fine as long as you put money into these accounts that are designed to help you do really well. In other words, if you're in your 30s right now and you have a job and you have a 401k, it would probably be in your best interest to max out that total dollar amount, and maybe that's all you can do for like another 5 years. So don't get too stressed out about it. Just continue to put as much money as you can into those accounts. In 2016 is when I opened up my taxable account because I was maxing out those other accounts. Then as you get older, I think what people should do, and what I did, which is now giving me all of these choices with these different accounts, is then look at your money from a more holistic perspective of when do you need the money. You want to create buckets of money in accounts that then you can look at it and say, yeah, my withdrawal strategy will be that I'm going to take first from the Roth, maybe for 10, 15 years. That means then I may not have to have everything at 60-40. It might be that it might turn out to be 60-40, but for the account itself, it could be 80% stocks. Are you following me? So then you balance it out with the other account. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be thinking through in the month of March. So stay tuned. I hope you like this little ramble, this little video where I'm just talking through numbers and money. If you did, give me a like. I would appreciate it. Consider subscribing to all of you that have joined my channel in recent weeks. I appreciate so much that you guys are here. I give a heartfelt thank you to all of you that are here, that are here, that are here. I hope you find my content relaxing. That's the main goal, as well as teaching you about money, to think about money, and to know that all of you have within you the capacity to do wonderful things as you move forward. So, I think I'm going to get outside and do some walking now that it's warming up a little bit. I will see you guys in the next video.